Good morning, viewers. How have you all been? You're welcome to yet another installment of our real estate series, Coach Angelo Talks. Now, today we're going to address something that's very critical to real estate buyers and sellers alike, and even to the agents, brokers, and middlemen, and everyone in between. And that topic is government acquisition. When you hear the term, this land is committed, or this land has been acquired by government, what does it mean? What's the implication of that? We're going to break it down for you today. And to break it down, we'll get right into it immediately. Now, as far as real estate is concerned, if you're intending buy or purchase of real estate, it's easy to see, situations where if you go for a search, you see that, oh, this land is under acquisition and all whatnot. Now, I'm here to let you know what that means, the implications of it, and how you should, proceed when you come against such scenarios. It's not all bad. Doesn't mean that you cannot purchase something. There's nothing for you to do there. But let's get right into it. Now, when you hear that the land is under government acquisition, it simply means that that land in particular that is being spoken about, or that is the subject matter of that discussion, transaction, or whatever, that land, government has an interest in it, and government wants to use the entirety of that land or parts of it. But how do you know the areas of that land that you can use? How do you know the areas that you should stay away from? Simple. By the time we come to the end of today's, episode, you'll be better informed about government acquisition of land. Basically, government acquisition of land comes under two basic types. There is the committed acquisition of land by government, and then the second one is global acquisition of land by government. Now, getting to the first one, which is the committed acquisition of land by government, it simply means that government is interested in a piece of land and has acquired it or indicated its interest to utilize that piece of land for a stated purpose. Basically, committed acquisition means that the use to which government wants to put that land is stated ab initio. If you do a search and a piece of land is committed by government, where you see the state, the purpose of that land is stated. For instance, in certain areas where possibly government has taken land from the people, maybe to build a free trade zone or a refinery or something, or for a large expanse of land, they usually, in addition to settling the people, what part of that settlement includes giving them alternative land elsewhere. So in the new place government wants to place those people, it will acquire land in that area. And if you do a search, you're going to see probably acquired for resettlement scheme or something of that nature. That is committed acquisition, because the purpose of that acquisition by government is expressly stated. That is committed acquisition by government. Whereas on the other hand, there is what is called global acquisition. Global acquisition is simply a situation where government is interested in land in a certain area, but it is not quite sure what it wants to do with that land yet, or it has not made up its mind. That's what it means. But it goes ahead and acquires that land. That land becomes committed. You cannot purchase out of that committed portion of that land, but it is a global acquisition. In that case, the government might decide to use it for something in the future. They don't know what yet. Whatever it is to be used for, the government just knows that there's a need for it to have an interest in a certain area sometime in the future. It might look at a certain area and say, okay, this area, let me give you an instance. It might look at, let's say, Ekpe, that is a developing area, and say, okay, Ekpe, this portion of Ekpe will develop in future. in this regard, probably residential or commercial. So in future we might have need to do something in Ekpe. It might just acquire a parcel of land in Ekpe. That is government itself who actually, is holding the land in trust for everybody in the state, will acquire that portion. But because they have not stated precisely what they want to use that land for, it is now known as global acquisition. Sometimes government can acquire land and it stays for as long as, because they haven't had a reason to use it yet. So in that case, it is known as global acquisition. Those are the two different types of land. Now, but however, there's yet another scenario that might come up, which from time to time usually comes up and happens within the Federation of Nigeria. Sometimes an area might begin to develop. Maybe government has acquired land for global acquisition in a certain area. And, as time goes on, development keeps coming to the area, and eventually the development gets to that area. Maybe residencies have come and people are living all around that particular area, and government looks at it, okay, because this area has become a purely residential zone, and is, the population here is, and the infrastructure here is so much, and people are still in need for more land to possibly build more houses to live in for residential. They might say to themselves, let us now release this land that we have acquired here back to the people. And where such a thing happens, the process of releasing that land, that acquired, committed land, back to the people, is called ratification. So the government will ratify. Basically, ratification means to return a land that has already been committed by government back to the people. And it now gives it back to people. So people who are interested in it will tender, bid for it, and purchase those land as, setting as a government fixed prices. And the government will now give them a document, allocation papers, to say that, okay, we have reallocated these parcels of land back to these same people. And then after that, people can now go ahead to purchase and to sell and to build and to develop and do whatever they wish on those lands within the law. So that is about it. However, remember when we started, I told you, there's, first off, you have the committed acquisition, and then second one, global acquisition. Now, after aside from those two, if a land is not acquired under this acquisition by government, that land is deemed to be free. You can come to an area, let us say, for example's sake, let us say a community comprises of 10 plots of land, and government has acquired, let us say, 4 plots out of these 10. And now the community has developed the rest of the property around that 4 plots, and later government wants to give it back to the people. What it means is, out of in the first initial situation, 4 plots are committed, 6 plots are free for people to trade, buy, sell, and develop. Then subsequently, when government now decides, okay, let us return even these 4 plots back to the people, they put up a bid or any process that they might deem fit and return it to the people in that process. So, and that process is called ratification, thereby making that 4 plots that they had previously acquired to be available to people to utilize for their purposes. So these are the processes when it comes to acquisition of land. Remember, committed acquisition, global acquisition. Process of returning previously acquired land by government to the people is called ratification. However, if a land is not under acquisition, it is deemed to be free land. So, we have come to the end of today's episode. My name is Coach Angelo. I am your host for this Coach Angelo Talks. So, see you in further episodes, and I will plead with you to please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, so that we'll be able to keep be motivated to keep bringing you this education for people who are interested in purchasing real estate or using real estate, or people who already even own real estate in Nigeria. So I will continue to bring you this education series so that we can let you know what you need to know within the ambits of the law. And if you have questions or things you want clarity on, please send us a message, reach out to us, send messages to us, reach out to us. We'll be glad to respond to your questions and to your inquiries. Our information is scrolling on the screen. So I'll see you by the next episode. Once again, my name is Coach Angelo, and thank you from all of us at Coach Angelo Talks. Thank you so much.